Dude, can the Leafs just, stuff Reimer in their luggage and bring him back with them? What's he gonna play the other 18 positions too? Let's go! Give me what I want! Kick down the door! Drew, you are not doing this! What? Not nice! There's a giant head! You hear yourself? I made 2,000 of these. I'd like to have fun. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Leafs lose 4-3 in overtime against the San Jose Sharks. They got a point, you might say. You know what? They made it close, you might say. Hey, at least they scored a fancy goal and Matthews got on the board, you might say. No. Anybody who stayed up to watch that game, that 10:37 start time of a game that ended at 1:01 in the morning Eastern, knows that game stunk! If you woke up and just saw the score, I can see how you'd be like, it's okay. You think they beat the Sharks, but they didn't. It's okay. They still got a point. It's okay. That was the most deeply concerning performance of the season since the last one. Boo! And with all the most predictable storylines in the world. Before the game, Kyle Cushman tweets Timo Meier first goal of the season plus Alexander Barabanov on the score sheet, right? But followed by, it's too easy, man. It is too easy. It's way too easy to play against the Leafs. Before we talk about the rest of the game, want to bet? You can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook. Is there a struggling player or an ex-player playing against your favorite team? Well, you can bet pregame live in play or on one of their many prop bets. Made for Canadians by Canadians, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Visit sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Here's the most annoying thing about this Leafs performance. My initial plan, because the first 39 and a half minutes of this game, so that's a minute left in the second period, those minutes were so bad that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shoot the entire LFR at second intermission and just shoot a little addendum at the end of it, just seeing how the third period goes. I thought it would be a fun exercise because either I'd predict they would be bad and they would continue to be bad, or I'd be like, look at this bum team, and they would come back and win in convincing fashion, and I'd look silly, and it would be a lesson in overreacting. But I also thought about the possibility, what if they play just well enough to lose? They make it close by the end of the third, or they even force it to overtime of the shootout and lose. And even though they made a game of it, even though they got the point, my point would still stand. I deeply regret not doing that because my point still would have stood. There's no point going through this game goal by goal. It's the same thing we've heard 1,000 times. Goal less than 30 seconds in. Did not start on time. David Kampf gets the Leafs' first goal and he leads the team at 5-on-5 goal scoring. A wild amount of Leaf fans are wanting Sheldon Keefe to be fired, and I don't understand it because he has the highest winning percentage in team history. Yes, they are struggling now, but it is not his fault. That being said, if he plays another game on the fourth line, I'm gonna lose it! The new random assortment of men on the third line was Bunting, Yarncroke in the middle, and Engvall on the right. And it's actually better than what they've been throwing out there. Engvall had his best game in a while. Yarncroke was okay up the middle. Listen, I don't care what you do with that random assortment of men. Play Kampf more! Which in this game, Sheldon Keefe took to mean play the fourth line more, and that's not what I meant! Dude, this team, for the vast majority of that game, looked completely and utterly mid. Uninteresting, uninterested, and uninspiring. What are they? What are they? What's the team? What kind of team are you? Are you a fast team? You used to identify the Leafs as a fast team. They've actually kind of slowed down. Are you a good defensive team? The Leafs actually took several strides in that regard last year. This year, they have struggled. For obvious reasons, there are injured guys who aren't in the lineup, but the schedule doesn't care. Are you a high-octane team that's going to score a lot of goals? That's what it's supposed to be, but they're not going in right now. Are you a grinding team who is just going to beat the other team into the dirt? LMAO. And they're not big, they're not small, they're just wrong. I've done a version of this rant several times, and it's alarming how true it continues to be. But here it comes, and Leafs fans, you're going to want to listen to it. You're going to want to cup your ears and listen to it, eyes wide open, listen and see it. On the podcast, when we were doing our season predictions, who's going to end up where in the Atlantic, I had the Bruins higher than anybody else. What? Are you serious? They're old. They got Bergeron up the middle, Krejci up the middle. He didn't even play in the NHL last year. Marchand's hurt. McAvoy's hurt. They put Mike Riley on waivers, which is just a thing that everyone let them get away with. But guess what? They've been winning games. Almost every game, actually. And why? Why? Are they the most talented team in the NHL? Well, they got talent, but no. I don't think you'd put them in your top 5. Would you put them in your top 10? Like, they might crack your top 10, maybe. The Boston Bruins' greatest strength is they have Boston Bruins. When they draft guys, they're Bruins. When they sign guys, they're Bruins. When they trade for guys, they're Bruins. The Bruins make Bruins. They play FU in-your-face hockey and give a 110% effort every single game. You follow them on social media? The vibes, immaculate. Halloween costumes, hilarious. The TikToks even, mint. And their top guys? Oh, Pasternak's got 14 points. I didn't see a lot of the post-game quotes before shooting this video, but I saw one from Austin Matthews about the struggle to get a full 60 minutes out of this team. This is the 7th full year in the league for Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander. And I'm not necessarily blaming any one of those guys individually, but every year it's the same thing. How often are Bruins fans like, man, Bergeron didn't look dialed tonight. Oh, Marchand looked disinterested. He wasn't completely miserable to play against. And you know what? Let's ignore the Bruins for a sec. Let's talk about Toronto. Let's talk about this fan base. You don't necessarily have to be from Toronto or the Greater Toronto Area or Ontario. I know a lot of people around the world just cheer for Toronto teams. And what a city you picked. But I saw a meme today that was about the Raptors and the Leafs, because heading into this game, the Leafs and the Raptors had the same record. They were both 4-3. And the meme was that Gordon Ramsay one where he's like coddling the Raptors and, oh, don't worry, it's okay. And the Leafs one, it's like, you donkey! I don't do a good Gordon Ramsay, I just yell. And it's a meme, and it's funny, and it's based in truth, but do you know why that is? Because the Leafs have an enormous glut of talent, and they win games based on that alone. And when they're dialed in, the Jets game, you see how well they play. Even the Dallas game, Robertson, and you saw how fired up they were for that. When they're not dialed in, when they're not interested, when they're feeling bad about themselves, whatever it happens to be, they're useless. They are ordinary. They're average. They're utterly, deeply, in their bone marrow, mid. Are the Toronto Raptors the most talented team in the NBA? No. Are they one of the most talented teams in the NBA? Probably not. They got lots of talent, but they're not up there. They definitely don't have the stars that other teams have, let's be honest. But the Raptors' identity is there are no passengers. How often do you ever hear, oh, the Raptors just didn't look interested in this game, they looked like they were feeling bad about themselves? Like, what % of the time? It's almost never. If the Toronto Maple Leafs had the Raptors' identity, no one would say a word. We'd love them. That's the team this city wants, by the way, this fan base wants. But unless they have a babysitter like Wayne Simmons out there, these dudes, they can't get up for a game, for the start of a period. This is Austin Matthews on the first goal. Like, it's lovely that he got a goal and ended his streak. They wouldn't have been down 3-1 had the first goal was utterly unacceptable. That's your top guy. A few months ago, he was voted the most valuable player in the National Hockey League. Connor McDavid had 4 points tonight. The most valuable player in the National Hockey League. He had 60 goals. And instead of keeping up with Logan Couture, he's like working on his edges. Engvall, in a game that was considered a bounce back, still took a penalty, something that he does way too often. Brody takes one. This team shambolically takes a 2-minute 5-on-3 where they allow goals on both penalties. So the final minute of the second period, the Leafs get themselves back into the game, pull themselves to within one with their ridiculous talent. Tic-tac-toe all over the place. Mitch Marner finishes it off. Erik Karlsson makes a mistake in the third period. The power play goes to work and they're moving the puck around. It's doing great. Matthews with the banger because he's got the best shot in the league. Again, unstoppable talent that carries them through games where they're barely even in it. And William Nylander just makes an unfortunate decision in overtime. It's 3-on-3. There's lots of ice and Erik Karlsson's out there. It's done. People are blaming Källgren and like he's the third goalie. I'm not willing to hang the whole game on the third goalie. And Justin Holl, and listen, I do not like Justin Holl's game, but this team top to bottom is mid, and they shouldn't be. Look at it on paper. This isn't a mid team. But the way they play hockey this season sucks the happiness out of me. I mean, how many times are we willing to watch them have the puck more than the other team, have fewer shots on goal, but more shot attempts because they're all pieces of crap to the outside, because they're the easiest team to keep to the outside, and when you want to go into their defensive zone, penetrate the inside. They're the second toughest team in every single game they go into. Every single one of them. It was 1-0, and the Sharks are jamming away at Shelgren, and the whistle goes, and nothing. Not a stinky glove, not a face wash, not even a talking to. Austin Matthews getting into it behind the play with the other Svechnikov. Like, not even the best Svechnikov in the NHL. The other Svechnikov who signed a 1-year deal super late in free agency. Like, this guy, he's a depth player. He's fine. He's fine. That's a depth player against the MVP. Someone do something. Someone find a pulse. Yarncrow getting rocked. Nothing. No one cared. I know it's early, but it's also really not. Who is it early for? Let's go through the team. Kerfoot, Matthews, Marner. That's the top line. They've all been here for years. Robertson is a rookie. Tavares, Nylander. They've both been here for years. They've been great this season. They didn't have a great game. Bunting, Yarncroke, Engvall. I actually like all three of those players. Yarncroke just got here. Bunting, demoted early in the season again. And Engvall, like, wake up. Like, this team, every year he's got to be woken up. And every year he takes too many penalties for a penalty killer. And Mulligan has technically been a Leaf for years, but no. And now you're down at the fourth line. Like, people are tweeting like, oh, Zach Aston-Reese, like, he's not making an impact. Like, okay, you're right. But, like, it's a fourth line. Riley, Uf Marone in his own end. Brody has been here for years. Hall has been here for years. Sandin, it's complicated. Dude, the vast majority of the team has been here for years. So I know it's only 8 games in, and I feel like we have this conversation after every game. It's only 4, it's only 5, it's only 6, it's only 7, it's only 8. How long are we willing to do this? This team needs a shakeup. It does. I'm not for firing the coach. I don't think that's going to make a difference, and certainly not a positive one. They need a trade. They need a trade or something, anything, to get their attention, to wake them up. Because this is pathetic. Like, can I predict exactly what's going to happen? Like, exactly what's going to happen? They got the Kings Saturday night in LA, and they're going to have a good performance, win or lose, and they're going to get us back on board. See, nothing was ever the problem. The very next night, they got Anaheim, second half of a back-to-back. They're going to be asleep by about midway through the game. It's going to be the third period. It's going to be like a 1-goal game, but mentally, they're going to be like, I wonder if I got enough Halloween candy. If you didn't watch the game and this feels a little extra to you, just talk to anyone who actually stayed up and watched the thing. It is 2:04 in the morning I'm shooting this. The game ended a little over an hour ago. Steve, would you have said any of this if the Leafs had won in overtime? I'm glad you asked. I thought about it. I thought about what I would say if the Leafs won in overtime. And I think I would have found a positive spin for it all, that they managed to get it back, and it's early in the season, and points are important, and 2 points is 2 points. But I would have thought all of these things still. They never stick up for each other. Their compete level, cataclysmic. Body language, catastrophic. The Leafs barely look like they enjoy hockey right now, and it's permeating the fan base. We all see it. We're all seeing it in real time. What's it going to take to get them back interested in this thing that they do? The talk of the offseason was, what difficult decision is Kyle Dubas going to have to make? It's about time he started making them. His whole strategy as a general manager has been, don't blink. No, we are going to see this through and stick to the process. But sometimes you blink and it makes it easier to open your eyes. If this team doesn't do it soon, they're just going to be another team in the middle of the pack, probably make the playoffs, definitely get knocked out in the first round. And we're all going to sit through it and be right back here next year, which, to be clear, I very don't want. Go and look at my channel. Go and look at my channel right now. Go and look at the views for LFRs for wins and the views for LFRs for losses. People love my misery, but I am actively cheering against my own success. I want them to win so bad. This all started because I love the Leafs. If they went 82-0 and nobody watched, I would be the happiest boy on the planet. But instead, we get this Leafs goal song getting blasted in San Jose Sharks dressing room. Get absolutely dunked on, you monument of mediocrity. Questions. You said at the start of October you'd be happy with a 5-4-1 record, or 12 points at the end of October. With a win against Anaheim or LA, you'd get there. Would you still be happy with that result? No, I wouldn't. I'd be happy that the Leafs got through a difficult month, and like the schedule does suck. Like that probably does explain a portion of the Leafs' struggles. Their October schedule has been awful. But context matters, and in this case, context is watching the games and seeing how they got to those results. The results would be good. The process would be terrible. And they would still be exactly the same team that I laid out to you earlier in the video. They get by on their talent alone. What is it going to take for the Leafs to consistently work harder than their opponents? Their lackadaisical showings in gimme games is going to cost them an ideal playoff matchup. You know, they dropped a bunch of points last year, and that forced the Leafs to play Tampa. But the season before, they won the Canadian division, played Montreal, and it was the exact same result. Exact same result. Exact same result. They need a shakeup. They're sleepwalking right now, and they sleepwalk way too often. Way too often. They're far too average. News out of San Jose today is that every player except Hurdle is tradable. Besides Reimer, who would fit in Toronto's from San Jose's roster and why? Alexander Barabanov. Oh man. Dude, I gotta go back and watch my LFR videos where Barabanov actually played on the Leafs and actually played up in the lineup, because I remember saying he looked good. The puck was not going in for him, but he was dangerous consistently. Name the player he was traded for. Huh? You can't. And it's cool that Dubas got him an opportunity and everything, but I would have preferred the opportunity be in Toronto, on account of he's a good player and you should keep those. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Wow. Wow, wow. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. If the Leafs do this again Saturday, at least the game starts at 7. If any Leafs are watching this, might want to write that time down.